Hello, Aquarius. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Aquarius is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. These readings are totally free. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Aquarius, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And we start with the Hierophant, right? The Hierophant is a wisdom energy, okay? And as the situation now for you, I feel like you're tapping into your higher wisdom. I think that you're getting guidance from something beyond just the ego, beyond your emotions, your thoughts, your learning, and that's there's some kind of a higher principle that you're tapping into, okay? I think you're somebody who is reaching a level of mastery in something. I think that you're breaking away from you're breaking away from tradition, and I feel like you're kind of like you're forming your own traditions. You know, it's like a family that may say, "I'm not going to do what my family did. Let's break that habit. Let's break that cycle. Let's do our own thing." You know, let's establish our own traditions in life. Let's find something that we believe in that isn't what I've been taught. You know, I feel like you're kind of making this, you're making this transition, or Spirit's trying to tell you that, look, you have the wisdom that you need within you. You don't have to do what everybody else has done. You don't have to do what you've been taught to do through your history, your upbringing, through, you know, family, friends, through society, through the internet. This is asking you to trust the guide within you, your own spiritual guide. Yeah. And I think that this is about your manifestation. This is how you are becoming the person that you need to be, right? I feel like you're manifesting your very best self, right? In your effort to manifest and to succeed at your goals in life, whatever they are, Spirit wants you to recognize who you're becoming through that process and maybe how that feels. Let's see what's going on with this card. Maybe you're becoming a teacher or an advisor. I feel like you do have a lot of wisdom to share. I don't know if this is, you know, literally about you passing that wisdom on, or about you recognizing simply, you know, who you are becoming through the process of achieving your goals in life, right? We got a Two of Wands. We've got the Death card. We've got a Queen of Pentacles. We've got a Four of Cups, and we've got the Art or Temperance card in the future position. So I think this is very instructive here. We do we adhere to that process. I was going to say conform, right? But that's too on the nose with the conformity of the Hierophant. That by going through the Temperance card, by going into the fire, by placing ourselves on the blacksmith's anvil, that is how we are becoming the person we are. Okay? Not by being stuck in the past. Right? Not by trying to remain the same, not running away from challenge, but no, you're saying Two of Wands. I'm choosing to go boldly into my life. I'm choosing to boldly, courageously go forward into the fire, into the challenge, onto the blacksmith's anvil, into the pressure cooker, because that's transforming me into who I need to become. So it's not really about the goals that you're setting for yourself. In some ways, those don't really matter. What matters is your approach and your willingness to do what's challenging. Okay, let's keep going. Let's put the rest of our cards down. We have the Universe. We got a Three of Cups. We've got a Seven of Cups, this is kind of the energy we don't want, right? And we've got a Prince of Wands. So we're activating our courage here. We're activating our tenacity, our constancy, our commitment, and we're staying on the gas pedal. Okay. Now, true manifestation isn't just about getting what you want. It's about becoming the person that kind of, feels what you want to feel. And I think that's what we're kind of looking at here with all of the water energy that we see and the Hierophant. This is the person you're becoming. You're being guided by this higher principle, this higher wisdom in your life, this inner spiritual guide is directing you toward the right circumstances that are going to change you into the person you want to be. We're not letting our emotions guide us, and I think that's the water energy that we see. We're letting our inner spiritual guide show us what situations we need to challenge ourselves with. It's very simple, right? We have to choose to do that. We can feel the promptings from Spirit. Like I know what my Spirit's telling me about what I should challenge myself with, right? We have the choice of which pressure cooker to enter into, okay? Or to enter into no pressure cooker at all. And our choice is going to determine who we're becoming. So that's what we are manifesting. It's not about the object that we're producing. It's about becoming the person that we want to be. How does it feel to be me right now? Are we having that kind of emotional experience that we want? Do I like who I'm becoming through these challenges that I'm facing, with the pressure cooker challenges, right? It's not about getting what we want. That's part of this water energy here. Okay. Let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. And we're going to set it down right over here with Bubo, the mechanical owl, right on top. We're not going to look at that card until the very end. It will tie everything together. It will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. If at any point during this program you feel like you might know what that card is, put your prediction down in the comments. Okay? Let's see if we can do it together, right? Let's practice our intuition. Now, as we look around the room, we see our major arcana, 1, 2, 3, and 4. We have the choice of what venues, to enter into. That we can, we have to understand who we want to become, and that's going to give us the sort of orientation that we need with the universe card here. Which direction to take our life. Okay, what pressure cookers to go into. We can kind of, in a way, pick our battles, right? We realize that transformation is a slow and gradual process with this death card. We have to let go of the past in order to make space for the future. But we also have to realize that no energy, no experience, no thought, word, and deed, no circumstance, no interaction, no relationship, no experience at all is wasted by the universe, by nature, by spirit. Nothing is wasted. Everything that we do, every thought, word, and deed is kind of slowly shaping who we are in imperceptible ways. So what we're doing here is we're taking this inner guidance and we're making the difficult choices about which things to pursue, which challenges to face, what do I need to work on, what are the pressure cookers that I need to go forward into in order to become the person that I want to become. Okay? So we have to know who do we want to be. Yeah. And that slow and steady process of the death card. It's the nature of nature, right? It's change. Long term, right? The long-term soul-rooted vision is not short-term wins. Okay? Not short-term wins. So we've also got, let's see, so 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got fire and fire, water, water, water. We've got no air cards. We've got a little bit of earth. And a little bit of earth is kind of in the background. It's the Queen of Pentacles in the past position, looking at the past. We need to, in a way, turn our face forward toward the future. What are the challenges I'm going to face now moving forward? Not to be too concerned with the challenges that we faced in the past. See, this card is looking back at the long and winding road that it took to get right here, right now. This is everything you've ever been through. Okay, this is who I am now, where I am, and what I'm doing is a result of all the thoughts, words, and deeds from the past. It all culminates into this moment. And if we understand that, and this is a card that's looking at our path and realizing that, there were a lot of choices here. And if we can distill this past into little kernels of wisdom that go into and realize that it is because of this history, that's who I am now, and now the choices that I make in the present moment, which is our Two of Wands, that's going to determine how I'm shaped and molded going forward. So we have to take this long-term view of things, but we don't want to get too stuck on the past where we could be regretting things, we could be nostalgic for things that have happened in the past, or we could wish we could go back to some things from before, The Four of Cups at the top here, this is sometimes an inertia that we have to overcome, because this is that part of us that says, I don't need to change. I don't need to grow. My life doesn't need to evolve. No. Things are fine the way they are. And I think if we feel a true contentment, that's beautiful. Right? That's good. We want to feel content in life. We want to feel like I've got enough. Sometimes to me, this is a false contentment. This is the feeling like, I just don't want to do the work. I don't want to face the pressure cookers, so I'm just going to convince myself that everything's okay. I'm going to gloss over all the need for change, and I'm going to try to act like everything's fine the way it is. But what we have under the surface, of course, is that death card that reminds us that time is always marching on. Things are always going forward. Okay? And we cannot sit still. Sitting still is the same as going backwards, as regression, right? Of trying to repeat some life that we've already lived. Okay? I think you're manifesting from your deepest desires of your heart. Okay, and I think that something is connected with your home, a sense of connection, a sense of purpose. I feel like there's kind of a community orientation for you. Okay, I feel like you're including other people in your life right now, in a way where we're sort of asking, like, how can we include other people? What are we creating? What are we co-creating, right, with others? Okay, I think that's kind of an important thing for you right now with your Three of Cups and with your Universe card. I think we're trying to fill our world with love and connection. We don't want our world to be cold and empty. Right, we want it to be teeming with life. We want that true contentment. We want that contentment that says, I'm becoming the person that I want to be. And how does it feel? Right? Not what am I achieving, but how do I feel about my life? Because there's always going to be more things to achieve. There's always going to be another race, another finish line, another thing to make. How do I feel about that process? How do I feel about what I'm doing? How do I feel about what I'm becoming? Yeah, does it sit well with you? And I think sometimes the Four of Cups is us trying to say, oh yeah, I'm fine. I have no problem with what I've been doing. Everything's great. Realizing that under the surface is a lot of change taking place. Okay. I feel like you are including other people here. I feel like what you are manifesting is extending beyond yourself. How can you help others? How can you lift other people up? That's part of our Hierophant energy. Are you a teacher? Are you sharing your wisdom? Or are you passing something on? Are you creating, safe space for others? Are you creating healing space for your community or your loved ones? Is there an emotional resonance that you're after? I feel like you're aligning here with your soul tribe. And I feel like that's very important for the Hierophant to do, to express that love and gratitude outwardly, because that's going to accelerate your manifestations anyway. Okay? That's going to make things happen a lot quicker for you. Now let's talk about the path of the serpent. As we do this, I would like to ask for your subscription. If you haven't subscribed, please do. These readings are totally free. Okay. Your general energy is the universe card. I think we want to make sure that our actions, our choices, the direction that our life is taking is in harmony with our values, right? We want the things that we're manifesting, the choices we're making, to reflect our kind of our emotional truth, right? What kind of world are we creating here? Is this a cold, empty, or hostile universe? Right? In this expanding world, the distance between stars grows greater and people feel less and less connected. The Hierophant is the one that's connecting people, that there's a shared interest, there's a value in us as a community, right? The Hierophant is a community leader, right? It's the teacher that's kind of gathering everybody together. It's the clergy. It is the counselor, right? It is that higher self, that unifying force. Yeah. It's the psychotherapist, right? It's the spiritual teacher, the guru, trying to consolidate, trying to bring about an integration, trying to create both an inner reality and an external reality that is in line with our truth. So, with our Two of Wands, we're asking, are the choices of which challenges we're facing, because we're always going to meet with the pressure. Everything's a pressure cooker, right? Are your choices in alignment with the kind of love and connection and peace that you want to call in, right? What is the world that you're creating? Now, the Three of Cups is gratitude. And gratitude, love, the expression, what are you radiating out from you? Radiating love, abundance, gratitude, and appreciation. That's a manifestation multiplier. Okay? Celebrate the emotional wealth that you already have. This is a Three of Cups that's inside of you, that is in your potential. By sending this out to the world, you're connecting with the Three of Cups in other people. And what does that create? Well, a Six of Cups, your soul tribe, right? Your community. So you're celebrating the emotional wealth you already have. It's a magnet for more of that. Okay? And this is in the position of your environment, and I think that is that's very important. And the more you recognize the joy in your current reality, the faster your abundance will grow. Gratitude will anchor you in that frequency of fulfillment. Okay? So we're becoming the kind of person that we want to be. We're creating the kind of world that we want to see, right? The Seven of Cups is kind of a challenge here, because this is sometimes the unwanted feeling that we all get. We can't be all happy all the time, right? We get stuck in the swamp sometimes. Sometimes we have a bad day. Sometimes we have to deal with difficult emotions. Out of all the cards that are here, this is the one that's kind of, showing the shadow side of things, the kind of swampy nature of life sometimes. Maybe we're putting unrealistic expectations on our relationships, family, or friends, that's kind of leading us to disappointment. Okay? Maybe we're radiating this gratitude and this love and this abundance out to the world, but sometimes we kind of feel like inside we don't always feel that great, right? Does it feel fake if I'm trying to project love and happiness out to the world, but I kind of feel like a Seven of Cups sometimes? Does that make it inauthentic, right? We're wrestling with these kinds of questions. Maybe this is the fear of really creating ourselves and our reality, and then kind of like having it snatched away, or realizing that I've done all this, where I've gone through these pressure cookers, I've been on the blacksmith's anvil, but I still don't like who I am. I still don't like the world that I'm creating. Okay? And then we're kind of right back to saying, oh no, everything's fine. Well, no, it's not, We don't want to ignore the Seven of Cups that we sometimes feel. Maybe this is the feeling that the world we're creating, or the self that we're creating, the work that we're doing, is not going to actually do anything. That no matter what choices I make, no matter what pressure cookers I go into, I'm never going to like it, right? So these are some of our fears, okay? The contrast between these two is that we could be focused on the happiness of others while neglecting our own emotional needs, okay? There is a connection with this past, the history, and the idea of the Hierophant as being a connection with like a culture or an ancestry or some kind of an inheritance, some kind of generational thing. That maybe in a certain way we're carrying some generational ideas or wounds or ideals about what happiness should look like, who I should be becoming, how I should be relating to others, or what the world is that I should be seeing or what I should be happy with, right? And so we start questioning whether or not our dream is truly ours, and whether the world that we're creating, maybe it's putting you in opposition. Sometimes the Two of Wands is a conflict between who I want to be and the world I want to have versus kind of what my parents or my culture or my ancestor or what my world is kind of taught me that I should want. Okay? The message here with the Prince of Wands is to keep doing what you're doing. Keep living your own truth and creating yourself and your world in a way that is resonating with your highest spiritual self. Okay, and don't give up on that. Even when we kind of run into the swamp of the Seven of Cups, we start to doubt ourselves. We start to feel like, maybe it's not working. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I shouldn't want this. We start having those fears and those doubts. Okay, the message here is to keep going because you're doing the right thing. You're taking an intentional, active role in the development of yourself and of your world, and you're doing the right thing. You're doing good work. Okay, let's look at the mystery card. It's probably going to be some swords cards, right? It kind of always we don't have any swords. I think we're going to get one, but maybe we need a little bit of swords card. Maybe we need to kind of to acknowledge some of these things and ask these questions and think about it and reach some sort of clarity. Maybe this will be an Ace of Swords. If you have a prediction, put it in the comments. Oh, look at that, 10 of Cups. That is the dream life. This is emotional fulfillment and harmony. This is a peak experience of joy and love and connection. And your emotional dreams like realized, all your relationships unified. That this is strong bonds with other people, with your family, chosen family, soul tribe, right? There is wholeness, there's integration here. This is like we feel very happy and comfortable and in love with the person that we're becoming and the life that we are manifesting. Inner world, outer world, right? Who I am and what my world is that I'm creating. There's a spiritual contentment. It's more than just material success. This is about feeling right with the world, the universe, and feeling right with ourselves, right? Hierophant. And kind of who determines that. Not letting our past, our history, or our parents, or our generation, or our ancestors determine kind of what I should be happy with, or who I'm supposed to be, right? This is a sustained happiness, too. This is a card of longevity, right? In your emotional satisfaction, a love that grows over time. To me, this is your dream life. And I feel like this is the message that Spirit really wants you to hear. That it's important that this message reaches you deeply in your core, not coming in through the intellect. Don't focus on the words, right? Focus on the feelings. There's still no swords cards here. This is about the feeling. Logically, doesn't matter. I don't care. How does it feel? Who you're becoming, how does it feel? I don't care what other people say. I don't care what doubts you have or what your neighbor might be doing. How does it feel inside of you? Are you happy? Are you satisfied with who you are becoming? It's an active, ongoing process. And with the world that you are creating, right? Becoming, ing is the suffix that's really important here because it's an ongoing activity of creation, right? And that's, of course, slowly over the course of time, right? It's the nature of nature. This is extraordinary. We're going to do an extended reading too. We'll do an I Ching hexagram. We'll do some oracle cards. There's a link up top. There's a link down below. New readings for Aquarius Thursdays and Sundays. Be sure to watch both readings. If you haven't subscribed, please do. These readings are free. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we're all in this together.